Prof. Welcome to a special edition of Proph Talk. Normally, I have my glasses on and my little dashiki, but I don't have it right now because I just woke up and I'm like 11 minutes late, and I'm watching the NBA Finals. Let's see. Golden State is beating Cleveland 91-64. It's fourth quarter, less than 8 minutes to go, and 19 seconds on the shot clock. And this episode is brought to you by Checkers. All around certain chicken selection, any size fries is for $1. Go to your selected Checkers near you. And this episode is about episode 6 is mental illness. I think I did mental illness last week with Andre, but I was a little tired because I was coming from somewhere and I kind of dozed off watching the mental illness. Mental illness I was talking about a little bit more myself, but this one is more for this one. We have this special guest. I think you remember from last time. His name is Triston Gilford. Say Tristan, welcome. Tristan, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up?
Sup, man. And like mental illness is something like you were. I know you work in the medical field, and you have a lot of experience with mental illnesses. What do you think about that? Like you know.
Mental illness, it develops sometimes. Sometimes we can have a mental illness and don't even know about it.
True.
I think it develops over time, particularly because sometimes we may face a traumatic event and we sometimes never forget the event, so we keep reliving it. And also, you'd be surprised how a lot of even prisoners, even some prisoners have mental disorders
That's true.
like OCD. They have ADD. They even have a lot of mental disorders that involve a lot of aggression. Um, and but a lot of times, a lot of times, mental illness it kind of goes. I shouldn't say kind of. It goes unnoticed because sometimes we say to us in society like, "Oh no, he doesn't have a mental illness. He just did it by choice."
Mm.
So is it by choice or is something really wrong with his brain? I mean, how we define normal behavior in society is that the person is cooperative, they're coherent, they're able to follow commands, they're speaking properly, they're not, pacing, anything like that. Whereas abnormal behavior is a person who's, incoherent, they're pacing a lot, they're doing a lot of things that in which we view as, have a little skewed view on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we have to say to ourselves, is this person mad? Is this person sick? Or is this person just stupid, like they mean that it's not as if they don't have a brain. They have a brain, but they just didn't know better.
Mm.
So so I think there are a lot of people who work on mental illnesses who don't know it. But the best thing to do anytime you're faced with a stressful situation, and I learned this from my brother, it's important to have social relationships, particularly with people who you can trust, because there's no point of you having a relationship with someone who you can't trust, because that only just make you even more distant and become more hateful or more bitter to the other person or whatnot, to develop negative feelings, and negative feelings and negative thoughts can actually hinder our lives in terms of our progression, in terms of our growth, in terms of our happiness. So, and you don't want that. And the more you keep and the more you hold on to things like negative feelings, negative thoughts, it can build up on you, and you can just explode. Pop. A lot of people say, I just exploded. That's a lot of time of pent up aggression that the person that he or she may have been holding on to, which is not good. That's why
Mm.
you always need a stress reliever, like go exercise. Go to the movies. Go go watch TV, go read a book. You gotta do things to make yourself stress free. Not saying that we don't encounter stress. I mean, we always encounter stress. Life is stressful.
Mm.
That's what's important when you start very early at a young age, that you develop a sense of discipline and a sense of control in terms of how to deal with stress. Because if you don't deal with the stress, as you get older, stress is going to build up on you because you didn't know how to take care of the stress that occurred to you previously before. So
Mm-hmm.
since you couldn't take care of that stress that happened to you earlier previous before, it's going to build up on you, and then you don't want, and this may go totally out of your control, and then you just may lose it, and you don't want that. And you lose it, you do things that you and awfully kind of regretting, and by the time you may have hurt yourself, hurt someone else, and go to jail when actually all these bad things are happening to you. So that's why it's important to have stress relievers. That's my intake on mental illness.
That's very informative and very, The question is, do you have any mental illnesses in your family? Like anybody has a.
Uh,
Let me choose the proper term. Mental illness, like mental disability. That's the correct.
no, no,
No,
no.
no. Yeah, like for me, I have. Yeah, I have a mental disability. It's very hard. You know.
Yeah, I think particularly we're in a time where we have a lot of bullying going on, like cyber bullying, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the person being bullied, they too can after a while, after them being bullied all the time,
Mhm.
because a lot of times with bullies they use fear to want to make the person do whatever they want to do. If you don't do this, I'll beat you up, and kind of things like that
Yeah.
to instill fear into other person.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised that the bully, as well as they may have a mental disorder as well. They have an aggression disorder. There's this thing called antisocial personality disorder. It's real. It's a real disorder. It's basically mean that the person is very hostile toward people as well as property. You tell them they sit down or calm down, they just can't. It's kind of like bipolar when the person's in a manic phase, because bipolar has the manic and then depressed phase. But antisocial is just straight up manic. Like they can't sit down, just totally disregard for other people's rights. I'm better than you, I'm over you kind of thing. You listen
Mhm.
to me, and if you don't, this is what happens. So that's what it is. And the person, and that's the bully, and the person being bullied, they can become, um, they can have disorders such as generalized anxiety disorder, such as like every time they think about it, they think about the event, they just become more depressed. Like they may stop eating, or they may eat a lot and gain weight. Lack of sleep, lack of concentration, become very distant or very isolated to the people who may really help them or who they love. Be out of fear from the bully. Um, and yeah, they can become depressed as well, and they can also suffer PTSD depending on what the bully did to them. If say the bully had pulled a knife on them or stabbed them or almost killed them, they can develop PTSD as well, just as much as veterans who develop PTSD. When they come back home from the war, when they come back home in America, a lot of them, I've seen a lot of cases where they deal with PTSD. And in cases where they deal with PTSD, they tend to act out as if they're still as if they're still in the combat zone. So you have to be approach them very calm, like okay, sir, ma'am, you're not in the war zone. Just calm down. You're here. You're home. You're with family. No one's here to hurt you. You just speak calmly to them and just keep reorienting them to their surrounding,
Mm.
because the surrounding they're living in now they're not so familiar with. They're more familiar with combat, war, guns, explosions, all that kind of stuff. But now they're home. But now they're back home in America, where it's peaceful. They're not so used to it. So you have to constantly reminding them, hey, you're back home with your family, with your friends. You know, that's okay. You just have to be calm about it, because if you're not calm, it's going to make them not calm, and guess what? They're not going to trust you. Anything on what you say,
Mhm.
they'll just even act out even more and can become even more dangerous. So
Yeah.
so that's my take. I mean, particularly in this world with how we're living in, it's just we got to distinguish: is it mental disability, or is it just simply lack of home training, I should say.
I
Because is it mental disability or lack of home training,
I
or
actually
like no one was there to help teach them how to raise them and stuff like that?
I actually disagree about that. I'm gonna tell you why. Because you gotta have the right home training about how the mindset. Because sometimes mental illness can actually be genetic, and sometimes
Yeah.
it's like like one person said, like everybody has it, but sometimes it's not diagnosed depending if it's severe or not. But the thing with me personally, like, I'm the type of person, if I like, I was like like, I think I told you the story, but I'm gonna tell you about this because at the time I told somebody last week I was very tired. So I was like this. I was younger. I was exposed to domestic. I was exposed to domestic violence, like, to a point that, like, you know what? Let me just be to myself. Then after that, I care, and I try doing what I gotta do. So my main thing it was, and I was like, when I got older, like, I was being socially awkward. Even though I know how to talk when I was like 2, but I didn't like physically talk since I was like 4 or 5 when I got into kindergarten. So I was just mute. So everybody thought I had speech problems, stuff like that. And I was experiencing like problems. Like I feel like no matter what I said, I can't get my voice in. So I learned to cope with things. So a point that, I went to therapy. They thought I had ADHD. They thought I had vision. They put me like Ritalin, all this, any drug that they gave me like I was 8 years old. They gave me to a point that, I was Queens General for it, then transferred to Jamaica, and after that, like, I was not getting any treatment. I don't know because the insurance, they don't accept that insurance anymore, or my mom took the option like, it's a phase. Then after that, I was experiencing a little anger throughout my rebellion, like the middle school stuff like that, because they thought I was gay because I don't talk to women. But it's not that. I was socially awkward. I didn't know how to react. So after
Yeah.
that, I was experiencing anger and stuff like that from middle school all the way to high school till a little after my mom met with my stepdad. Like, I tried doing everything funny and, try to get his do some weird stuff trying to get your attention because it's like,
Yeah.
you're going
Yeah. Yeah.
12. But when you're
Yeah.
teenage, you're like, when you're teenage, you being rebellious. So, if you feel like somebody's trying to push you away, don't go interact. Just stay away from it. That's what I realized. But it wasn't
Yeah.
like that.
Exactly.
It wasn't like that with my aunt's husband. With my aunt's husband, at least he come in my room, play a little video game, play a little NBA Showtime. At least give me some attention.
Hmm.
Like I feel like that's all I wanted. And I will respect. I always have your back, but you just give me a cold shoulder, and you know what? I'm not gonna deal with it. And I've been, living with them, and I've been depressed. I ran away, and because I realized something was wrong with me, and I have to run away, and I go to a safe place. Next, they come and look for me, and I don't want to go back over there because, you know, I'm not saying.
But bad memories. Good bad memories.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll be blunt. Like I said, I'm not holding nothing. Like, to a point, like, all right, my thing is this. I'm the type of person. When you discipline somebody, I believe in following examples, so it will eventually work. But if you discipline somebody and do something hypocritical, the discipline is null and void.
Hmm. Okay.
So, that's what I've been thinking. I've been, and with me, I wasn't like, I didn't. And most likely it's the religious factor. I was, spiritual, religious. I do believe in Jesus Christ. It wasn't for him, I would not
Yeah.
be here today. You know,
Exactly.
and that's
Exactly.
I don't care. I do believe in Jesus Christ. Do I because trust me, I've been through a lot. You experiencing some of my BS, but my thing is that, like, what? Yes, yes. I'm not saying my mom was a bad person. I'm not saying that. I'm saying her
Hmm.
ways is kind of hypocritical and null and void. I believe that it could have, like, I think the problem is that like I think I explained this a little earlier. I think it's the mindset of how the kid was born. Like with me, my mom had this mindset when she was 20. She had me. Same mindset what she has with me. When my sister was born, same mindset when she was 25 when she had my sister. Same with my other brother. She had a mindset when she was 32 with my brother. Same thing with my other sister. Same mindset when she was 37. Every mindset that you have per kid depend on how it is. That's why I look at it as. And I wonder why we butt heads, and I don't want to butt heads. And I feel like you're holding, like, why would I hold a grudge? I don't. I used to hold a grudge a lot. I realized I let things go. Because why you want to put yourself in deep depression and the person don't even care?
Exactly.
I either cope with it or just brush it off. But the problem with me, like, if I beef with like friends or whoever, associates, whatever the case may be, I shrug it off and treat it like a new day. But remember, friends can come and go, girlfriends can come and go, but family will always be beside you, and you have to learn how to deal with it. That was my infinite problem. Like, oh, I've been providing for you, or like, bring up provision. Yes, you're supposed to provide for you because I'm your son. It's not like I'm your nephew or whatever case may be. I understand it, and I'll be appreciative with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm always appreciative of like what people do. What Don't bring up the fact that it's like a provision. Don't it's like me buying a cell phone. If I buy my Samsung, it's a privilege. Now it's like a requirement. Back then it was like a privilege. Like you have an option not having a cell phone and stuff like that. That's when technology wasn't advanced that much. See, or I buy you clothes, provision. If you buy me like a Nintendo 64 or a PS1 or whatever the case may be, that's a privilege. But anything like clothes that you need, like or I buy you clothes and stuff like that, that's a provision, and that's where things get messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason why we don't click. And plus, when I went to my escapades, like I was like in my depression mode. I was not myself, and you forgive me and stuff like that. But I feel like you haven't forgiven me because if you're gonna bring up my thing, if you forgive somebody, do not bring up the past. Because that
Right.
person,
Yeah.
do not bring up the past. And if you
What
bring
so
up constant,
some people live by the thing that they forgive and I forget.
yeah, but I don't believe in that. If I forgive, but if you're gonna bring it up every time we have an argument, come on, man. When somebody has a mental disability, you're not supposed to bring up stuff that causes them to have a mental
Yeah.
disability.
Right.
You're
Well,
supposed to let them
yeah.
improve instead of regress or do something worse.
Right.
That was my problem. That was my problem. You know?
Yeah, and you're. I mean, you're an adult. I mean, you're an adult, but you're a little bit like me. Like you're an adult slash kid kind of thing because you haven't lived so long on Earth, but you have been through a lot.
Trust me, Trish, I've been through
Yeah.
a lot. And when
Yeah.
I first left where I was to come here, I contacted you. That was like 3 years. I was off. I was ghost for 3 years.
Mm.
Because you told me you trying to call Kino 3 years ago because Kino did told me that he spoke to you, and I think Kino didn't want to tell you where I was because Kino know where I was
Mm.
because I was going through my depression stage and stuff like that. So I was not myself. I was in my depression. I was like but what, I broke out of it. Take some meds. Just to lower down your levels, shit like that. But you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main thing. So, see, the problem is that I don't have beef with people. It's just that it's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's just that it's just that like I really like do like right now like it's just crazy, man.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah,
But you know what though? But the good news is though, my dude. At least you're here. You
yeah,
know. At least you're still talking. I can still hear you. You know. You're a cool guy, a smart guy. You're a hardworking dude.
yeah. I know.
That's the most important thing, though.
Yeah,
That's most important.
yeah. I know, man. Like most time with me, people actually think I live a good life, but like people at work, like depressed mental illness affect me at work too because I'm always too happy. Like with me, I'm not like sometimes with me lately, I'm feeling kind of like angry, but I'm not angry, but hey, it's normal stress. But me, I'm just very too I'm always excited, and people ask me, Rick, do you like working here? Like, no. It's like my thing is that like I cope with it. I learn how to do it. Some people don't know how to cope with it. Some people react out of natural, but it's how you cope with it.
Yeah. It's how you cope with it. That's
I
why.
cope I cope with it. Yeah.
That's what. But, yeah, yeah. That's why but not just in school. That's why when you work, we all know work is part of life and it can be stressful. That's why you have to learn how to deal with it. But in a positive way.
It's not like me. Like I have some other engagements to do, but some people have kids and just like I'm gonna go to another
Yeah.
job because I get more money. But even if you go to another job and get more money, you have to remember the other value that you do in that job. You have to do it the other way. That's why I learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people don't. Some people just miss the line about that. Oh, I'm supposed to make money and stuff like that. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know that's the problem. See, some people don't know about that. Like with me, I was joking around. With me, that's how I'm very sarcastic sometimes. Yeah. So that's how I deal with it. Just suck it
Mm-hmm.
up. You know.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. I hear
With me, some people say like with me, some people think like I talk about think
you.
like some people think I always talk about like some stuff is inappropriate. Like that's just me talking. That's me talking crap. But some people don't know that. I mean, I don't want to tell like with me it's very hard for me to get in a relationship because some people don't know. Some people don't know about the problem. Some people
Yeah.
don't know like some people don't know like I don't want to tell them like I have a mental disability, but I have to
I hear you. I hear you.
yeah. So
Yeah.
see the problem with me like some people like, oh, why are you too happy all the time, Rick? Why are you happy? Like nigga, I'm not
Why are you
happy.
happy? You're supposed to be happy.
Nigga,
You have a right to happiness.
yeah.
Why are you
People
too
thought I
happy?
like my job. Like no, I don't. I just cope with. I like with me. Like there's a certain thing because there's a certain professionalism. Like when I feel like I'm dealing with an angry customer, I just shut down and I get somebody to check on it. Like some people look at me like, Rick, are you okay? Like yeah, I'm fine. I'm just like I have a lot of things on my mind.
Yeah.
So that's about it. So I pray and I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's why you see me. I go to church, man. Every Sunday. You
mm,
know. Every Sunday, try to get the word in. I know I'm gonna make mistakes. I make plenty of mistakes, but
yeah,
you know, that's how I speak to God every day. You just thank God for a new day every day. Every day above ground's a good day, yo.
I know, man.
Um,
It's crazy,
yeah,
man. It's crazy.
yeah. But at least you're doing good. I'm doing good. We
Yeah.
both working, both making money. So I mean, it's all good. Everything's all good. Now, how's your family though?
Yeah, they're doing fine.
Um, that's good. Man. That's good. How's the weather in New York? Is it nice?
Yeah, well, in New York is all right, and that's about it.
That's
Hold on a second.
good.
Let me just close up my show real quick. Hold on. Guys, that's about mental illness, and hopefully, right now, hopefully I'll get back to you next Sunday, and because right now I'm just watching the game, and the game is actually, and I found out that Golden State won. So is the game for the series is two games to one, 2 games to none, Cavalier 2 games to none Golden State. So if you got any questions just hit me up. So if you have anything about if you got anything about anything about mental illness or anything, I can find a way to cope with it. You can hit me up on Facebook. If you have anything else, just talk.
Yeah.
Just talk to the guy right there. So. That's it. So my name is Rick, and this is my sidekick Tristan. I'll see you next week on Sunday. Hope I get
Yeah.
either Tristan or Andre back on the line, and we just talk about episode 7 will be actually about a lot of I think about I'll figure out what episode 7 is gonna be. So just hit me up and be pro.